Hey guys, we're going to take a look at, sorry, I just now noticed that it lights up on the back. That's pretty cool. We're going to take a look at a setup similar to the way I've been doing videos and recording recently, but I added a new piece to the puzzle that I feel like takes the blanket off the tone and makes things cooler. Like, I've been using the JCM 800 Mini into 2 notes captor, straight into Reaper, and using wall of sound. And I'm not very tech savvy, so I don't really know which piece is doing the difference. So yeah, I go from captor. Well, I was going from captor into the PreSonus Audio Box 96, into my laptop, into Reaper. Now Reaper is not the most expensive DAW. My laptop was not the most expensive laptop, and the audio box is not the most expensive interface. Quite a few pieces of the puzzle there that could be causing the difference. But I decided to add in the Torpedo Cab M. And the reason I decided to add that in was because with my laptop, it's a rather old laptop, it's time for me to upgrade. If you want to use more than 3 tracks or so of wall of sound, it starts glitching. I don't feel like it has enough processing power to run that many different instances of wall of sound. So I guess you could do like a folder if you wanted to just use the same cab and settings for each guitar track and only process it once, I guess. But I like using different cabs, mic combinations, and things like that for different tracks. So I need different instances of wall of sound. But with the Cab M, I'm going from the amp to the Cab M with a speaker cable into the captor with the speaker cable, and then out of the captor into the audio interface. Now the way I'm doing it is it's pretty cool because I have a XLR out going from the captor, and I also have an XLR out going from the Cab M. So I can do the DI straight from the Cab M, straight from the captor, and use wall of sound and do some editing later if I wanted to, and I'd just have a raw signal. But if I like the cabs I've already got in the Cab M, I go to a second input on the audio box and use the speaker cabinets in Cab M. Now we're going to go to the screen here in a minute, and you'll see the software that's used to edit your cabs, because wall of sound and the software for Cab M are a little bit different, and I would say that the Cab M software is actually better than wall of sound in my opinion, because I've yet to find a gate in wall of sound, but in the Cab M software there is a gate, so you can really cut back on the noise of your amp, because I get a lot of interference where I live, and the gate works really well. So we're going to go ahead and go to the screen and play a few guitar parts. Alright, so first off, this will be just the Cab M on its own. Let's pull up the software. Okay, that took a minute for me to do because I'm new to the software. Alright, so we're in the software now. Let's go ahead and make it full sized. Alright, so the EQ is a little different than the wall of sound EQ. It's got more going on, just like the gain, and a range for your EQ. You can like for the bass, you can choose between 10 and 500. Next, you can do like a 60 to 240. You can do like a 180 to 70. Like it's highly tweakable versus the EQ in wall of sound, and we'll take a look at that in a minute. The enhancer is also more advanced. You have three controls versus 2. You have bass and treble, or bass and highs, in the exciter inside a wall of sound, but here you have body, thickness, and brilliance. Reverbs, You have more reverbs. You have your studios, your plates, your all the typical stuff that you have in the other one. But this one you have like a plate, a spring, and a tile. You have a couple more options in here, and I'm really liking the plate. Like it's the kind of reverb I wish they had in Wall of Sound. I don't know why these two softwares don't line up more uh, more similar than they do, but I mean this one's killer. All right, so you have a preamp, you have a power amp, you have your miking, which what's cool here, if you look, you have axis, so you can set it on axis or off axis. On Wall of Sound, I believe all you can do is distance. You can't really do the axis. Here's that gate I was talking about. I have the gate pretty loud because, like I said, it's pretty noisy. Let's turn the gate off. There you go, you can hear it. All right, got the gate back on. I just have some 57s on here. You have input output level, and really, that's about all there is to it. And yeah, I mean, let's go ahead and check out the. Let's check out Wall of Sound. All right, so here's Wall of Sound. We're going to play through it real quick. All right, so there you go. That's Wall of Sound. You can see here you have your power amp, which I'm not using because I have the amp. All right, then you have your cabinets and your mics, your distance center. You might be able to. No, that's just I guess. Anyway, then you have the verify and overload. I'm using the same cabinet between both applications. Here's your EQ, and as you can see, it's a little bit different. You have fixed frequencies as well as a low switch where you can kind of decide where the low end kind of stops at. So if you want to have a lot more low end, you dial it down. If you want to cut that low back and give it like a cut, then you turn it up. And the exciter here, I got 2% there, 4% there. There's just two controls, like I said, versus three. A compression and a couple different reverbs. And of course, you have your mics. Not your mics. Here's your mics. You have your mics. You have your cabinets. You can link them or do them separately. So they do a similar thing, both applications, but I don't think that they're identical. Maybe you can actually go in here and tailor them to sound the same, but I prefer C.A.B. M. So let's go back to C.A.B. M now. SD1 is on. MXR 10 band is just doing a little bit of high brilliance, a little bit of presence. And let's see how it goes. C.A.B. M. All right, and here's Wall of Sound. All right, so now we're going to turn on some delay. Let's go back and look at the two notes C.A.B. So we're back in the screen for the C.A.B. mode. And you can see I have the threshold pretty high on the gate. I haven't even really used any of the EQ. I don't need it with the way I'm set up now, because with the amp and the 10 band I'm able to get that brilliance I've been wanting to get, which is what I've been using it for. So yeah, basically, I just wanted to show the way these two work together, or rather how they work differently, not together. In case you have the captor and you're wishing that it did a little bit more or something a little bit different than what it does, it took me forever to decide to just bite the bullet on this Cab M, because I finally found one used and I was like, I'll pick it up and see. It's not going to be any different than Wall of Sound, really, but to me it's enough of a difference to warrant having it, because it does make things a lot simpler. It streamlines a lot of your recording, because you don't have to use a lot of resources in there. You get the gate, you get a more fine-tuned EQ. There's a lot going on in here that you don't get in the other thing. So yeah, it's not a bad investment. If you're looking to upgrade your captor rig and you don't want to spend the money on the more expensive 2-notes equipment, just add a Cab M to your setup. There's also a pad on it, like an input level. So if you're using an amp, you go to like the negative 24 dB, and there's 0, and there's plus 12. So you can really fine tune it. Like, you can use this with just a pedal board and turn on your power amps and all that, and preamps and all that stuff. And I haven't tried it that way yet. I'm gonna do that soon, and I might make a video about that. I don't know. But just the way I'm using it now, this is perfect. So be what it will. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, like, subscribe, leave a comment down below, and click the bell so you can get notifications. And I will see you guys next time.